Oh man, we got a ton of people in here. You guys know my rule. If you're in here, you gotta say something in the chat, even if it's just hello. Super Junior told Brandon hi earlier, and that's good enough for me. Just let us know we're here. We are happy you're here. I got Kimbro Plays, world famous Twitch streamer, one of the best community builders I've ever seen. Definitely my favorite streamer. Just what he's able to do with his community and the way he's able to help people. Not only his actual community and the people who watch his stream, but also other streamers like myself, just giving us tips and tricks and providing a Discord to really learn and learn from each other.
Yeah, man, I'm a really strong advocate. I think it dates back to my time at Ohio State, being in the band. At Ohio State, there's this whole mantra of pay it forward.
Yeah.
And, the concept of just making sure that you leave the place better than what you found it. And one of the ways I feel like I can do that is not necessarily through like full-blown mentoring, but be a resource for others, right? Make yourself available. Make yourself, like I said, a resource so that people can learn and grow and figure it out for themselves and go on their own path, which is, I think, really important. So yeah, man, I appreciate those kind words. I appreciate your support. Really happy to be able to do this and influence others and help them figure it out on their own. I'm still learning on my own as well.
Absolutely.
Just every single day, just learning a new thing here or there, and just trying to, put out really good content. That's really it. There's a lot of trouble going on in the world still in 2021. And,
Yep.
if we can take a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday night and inject a little bit of joy and excitement into somebody's life, that's what it's all about.
I agree, man. I mean, you do it with games and like streaming, and I do it with music. But
Yep.
I think I kind of already did like a little mini intro. But if you want to tell everyone, what's important to you and a little bit about yourself, I think we can get this thing started, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Mike, having me on. I was really excited. I've been friends with Mike for quite a while. We've known each other through mutual parties for a longer time than that. But one of our mutual friends linked us up a little over a year ago. You can see I have a wedding ring. I was getting married.
Yep.
And we were about to do a wedding, and then COVID happened. But at the same time, we knew that if we ever had a bigger reception, there was nobody better to provide the nightlife and the energy for the night than DJ Access. So we've been working with Mike for a long time and talking to him about that. And over the course of that time, we just became friends and really started, talking shop about some of this other stuff. And it's been really fun. So yeah, I'm a content creator over on Twitch. I stream. I think the buzzword we use is variety streamer, just saying we do a little bit of everything over there. I also create some content on YouTube, TikTok, kind of the major platforms where you would see people brand themselves and start to generate some some entertainment for others. So I've been doing that since November of 2019. That's when I started to take it officially serious. That's when I, made a dedicated Instagram and Twitter account for it and, tried to take it somewhat serious. And man, let me tell you, it's been quite a journey, and have learned a lot, and I'm continuing to learn a ton. And, but I really enjoy, like you said, talking about some of this stuff and helping other people figure out what exactly works for them, learning from my mistakes, learning from mistakes I've seen others make or successes, and sort of putting that all together so that we can help others, find a way to make it better.
Absolutely, man. And we got a ton of people coming over from your stream already. Super Junior
Love
Gamer
that.
says, Brandon is a Cleveland Browns fan, so he wanted to add that to your bio a little bit.
That's true. Cleveland sports. I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. So the Columbus DJ podcast and the DJs that are in Central Ohio will always have a special place in my heart. But yeah, sports wise, I rock with the Buckeyes and then everybody up in Northeast Ohio. So, I cheer for all Ohio sports. If the Bengals are playing the Steelers, I'm not rooting for the Steelers. I'm rooting
Absolutely
for the Bengals.
not.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, that's a little bit about me. I'm a two-time grad of Ohio State. Have a lovely wife who I just got married to a couple months ago, and
Mrs. Kimbro Plays, to be
Mrs.
exact.
Kimbro Plays, to be exact. Yes. And yeah, man, just trying to have a lot of fun with this content creation journey. A part of me wishes I would have found this little portion of my life a little sooner, because I have a real deep passion and excitement for it. But at the same time, I may not have met my wife and my life play out the way it's played out so far if I would have done it different. So, I'm just embracing it, having fun with it, and just enjoying the journey for sure.
I'm definitely glad you're here, and I think the community of people watching are glad you're here as well. We're going to talk about merch today, but I wanted to hit one more question just for people to get a little bit more about you and
Yeah,
learn.
man.
You mentioned a few social media platforms. I just want you to give you maybe your favorite thing about each platform and then a least favorite thing. And you can just go ahead.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's a really good question. I'll start with the first the one that I got first,
Mm-hmm.
which was Twitter after Twitch. I'm not counting like a Twitch platform, but in terms of like a traditional social media platform, Twitter was probably the one that I signed up for first, and I like how quickly you can get interconnected with people through Twitter and how you can sort of scroll through your timeline and not only capture a lot of really useful information, but there's some humor in there. There's some levity. There's people looking to help. At some point, as with everything, too much of a good thing, right? You can catch some drama. That's probably the biggest place where I see like legitimate drama is on Twitter.
True.
And people in the comment section, going after each other. But in general, I've met a lot of really, really awesome people, learning about them through their Twitter feed and then, reaching out via DM or in a positive interaction in the comment section. I like how quick and easy it is. There's not a lot of a learning curve and a lot of people have it. And that when you're trying to build your brand and trying to build out your content, that's important. Be where the people are. And a lot of people are on Twitter.
Sure.
So it's not a bad place to link up. Plus, underrated portion of Twitter, it is one of the rare spots, especially relative to Instagram, where you can share a lot of your links.
Agreed.
And as a streamer, as a content
you.
creator, it's key, right? So you can use the bio section, you can use the actual link dedicated section to be able to share, relevant and useful ways that people can find your content if they're interested. So that's one of the biggest things I think about Twitter that I think is underrated and why I think it's a useful tool in the content creator business tool belt. I really like Instagram. I think Instagram, between what they do with the stories and how you can incorporate music and how you can sort of, curate your feed to look a certain way, especially when it comes to branding.
True.
There's nothing like the quality, the impact of a good picture, right? What is the saying? A picture can say 10,000 words or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I could talk about something on Twitter and, obviously I only have 160 characters, but I could spend all day blasting information out on Twitter and it just get lost in the shuffle. But a really, really important and impactful Instagram picture could make a lot of room and waves, which is pretty awesome. So I think Instagram's awesome for that version, especially when I think of like, Mike, your Instagram account and some of the photos you're able to take of you working as a DJ. I think Instagram can really transport you as a viewer, as someone scrolling to where it is and catch a lot of your passion and excitement and energy. I think it can come through some of those photos. So I actually think Instagram's a really useful tool.
I like it. I like Instagram as a business card, kind of like, hey,
yeah.
This is, if you only to look at a couple pictures and try to get a picture of who people are, like, Instagram is for that. Keep going.
Absolutely. No, I think so too. And the fact that you can put longer form videos out there, through IGTV or a series of stories, it certainly has a lot of versatility. There's a lot of things you can do off of Instagram. Big downfall for me, you got to have 10,000 followers in order to have any sort of link situation. You got that spot for that one link, but it would be really nice if you could put an Instagram story out there or, somewhere down in the caption of your post and really link people directly to whatever it is you're trying to get them to see. And so I think that sucks. I know they have their reasons for doing it that way. But I think it's definitely a challenge for a smaller content creator or small business to really gain a lot of momentum off of Instagram, which is really hard.
Hard to get them off Instagram. So you might be able to keep them in the ecosystem, but you can't get them off into your website, onto your Twitch or anything like that. And then talk about TikTok, and then we'll get into merch.
Yeah, man. TikTok, I think is really, really interesting. TikTok to me is, I think the initial knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people is that TikTok is for kids and TikTok is for a younger crowd. But I'm often shocked at the variety of people who are on TikTok. I think it's a larger base than what people assume and what they realize. And I think it gives you a chance to express different parts of your personality that maybe your original content doesn't, really express or doesn't really show. So if you're a DJ and people associate you as a DJ, but you also have other talents or also have, a level of comedy or humor about you. I think there's a lot of really, really cool things you can do with that platform to be able to, you know, let people see that and to grow a quick following. TikTok, all it takes is one. Unlike some of these other platforms, obviously you can go viral with just about anything. But nobody's algorithm really can take a zero to a hero the way that TikTok can. So
Nailed it. That's my favorite part of TikTok. The algorithm is killer.
that part is wild. And if you make consistent content and you're active and you do a great job over on TikTok, you can really, really grow quickly and get yourself a lot of eyeballs in a short amount of time. I would say the only real big downfall I have with TikTok at this point is, the 60 seconds is good. It's useful for short burst stuff, but I also don't feel like that you get quite as much of a meaningful connection, right? I think unless you've got a series of TikToks and you've got an established following that really starts to get to know you, I think it's a little bit. I'm going to scroll through. I might like your post. I may follow you, but I'm probably on to the next person.
Not a big like comment section. Like it's not a good place to connect with your viewers. I mean, I know they do lives and people use that, but would you say it's not as good as like some of the other ones as connecting?
It definitely is. And I know that a lot of really good content creators on TikTok do a great job in the comment section. I guess what I'm trying to weigh is quantity versus quality, right? And the quality of engagement or interaction that you can have with somebody, to me, is a little less on TikTok because they're on to the next TikTok. They're on to the next person, as opposed to, Instagram or Twitter or even your main platform, whether it be a YouTube or a Twitch, wherever, even Facebook, you can have, almost a little bit more depth to the conversation because the comment section is a little bit more user friendly and people aren't typically on to the next thing quite as fast as they are on TikTok, at least on, first blush. That I think is probably the biggest drawback right now to TikTok. Plus it's got a stereotype and, it's got a connotation as being, like I said, like a kids app. So,
I think you gotta deal with that. I feel like I hope so. Early 2020, like absolutely no question when it was kind of bubbling, and now you see everybody on there. Like the joke that like, oh, I'm an old person on TikTok is getting really old. I don't know if you get if you get those like I do, but we get it. You're on TikTok, you're over 30, we get it. I
think you're right, man. I hopefully that stigma is gone and is washed off, and people, at least people who are using it for business purposes, right? Not just like a personal account where I'm just scrolling and messing around, but if it's a part of my branding and social media package, it's a really powerful tool and it needs to not be slept on. So yeah, I completely agree.
See, guys, I told you this guy's amazing. We've already been talking for 20 minutes, haven't even hit the topic yet. But that's where I want to go next. The reason I wanted to have you on, Kimbro, is because I think DJs are looking for a way to recoup funds and really get back on track. The phone's been ringing for a lot of us the past couple weeks, maybe, with the dancing policies and some of the good news that's been coming out. However, last year we took a hit, right? So any way you can really solidify your brand and make a little bit of money at the same time without having to spend a ton of money, I think is good for any business owner, any brand manager, but especially DJs when you're trying to get your feet. You had a merch page, which I was already impressed with. You would, on your stream, you would talk about it, people would ask about it, and you do well. And then you flip the script, started working with the new website, and I feel like the way it's designed, the way it's delivered, and the way it's able to make you a little bit of money without any investment is awesome. So if you could just talk about how you started into your merch, maybe like the steps to getting, your first merch page set up, and then why you switched to the second merch page, and then how that's going for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a great question. It's a loaded question, but it's a great one. And, I think in general, when I zoom out and, you sort of laid great groundwork talking about potentially establishing a passive secondary income source for a DJ or for someone who's trying to recoup funds who've been impacted by 2020 and everything that's been going on. As a content creator from a streaming perspective, it's pretty common to develop your merch line. I think it goes sort of like in tiers and stages. You're streaming, you're playing video games, and then at some point you sort of evolve and you turn into a bit of a YouTube creator as well. And you're doing two hats at the same time and you're sort of bouncing those off each other. And Then at some point, once you establish a community, and a community of people, as far as a gaming or like streaming perspective, tend to be a little bit different than a DJ, because you're probably going to see them more than just the one time.
Mm.
You know, you may get a referral off of a couple who's marrying and using you, a handful of referrals, which would be wonderful, but you're probably on to the next group who doesn't know anything about you. So it's a little interesting, and I'm excited to dive into that with you more and more. In streaming, it's a little different because you've got a lot of repeat customers. And you got a lot of retention, especially if you do a good job. You can be rocking with somebody who, you know, spends time with you every week for years and years, right? Whether it be hanging out in your stream or checking you out on social media. So it's not too far fetched for you to put out some piece of merch that resonates with them and them wanting to do it.
Right.
So when I got to that stage with my content creation and my community, I ended up taking a look at some of the different situations that were out there. And the first one that jumped out to me, there's a handful of options and all of them are great and have strengths and weaknesses, but I ended up going with a company called Designed by Humans.
Got it.
And DBH allowed a small content creator a lot of really, really unique advantages. They take a large portion of any sale, but in my opinion, they do 90+% of the work required in order to make this thing get from the website to the person's door. So you're responsible for designing the merch itself, like the actual coming up with the idea and the design, and then applying it to whatever shirt or mug or whatever piece of merch you're trying to sell. So that's where you're on the hook. You're on the hook for the creativity and for the front, you know, the early initial piece of the process.
Mm-hmm.
From there, they have the website. They do all of the mock-ups where it's like, you know, there's a model wearing your shirt with your branding so that you can have images up on the website.
Right.
They're going to do all of the payment and transaction process. They're going to handle the shipping and handling for you on behalf of that person who's buying. They're going to handle the customer service in case there's an error or refund. All of those elements are super valuable. And then of course, the last one being they're going to hold the inventory. So you don't need to order 100 t-shirts and have them in a cardboard box sitting in your garage or your basement. They're going to have it in their warehouse and basically make it to order whenever somebody purchases it from you. So like I said, they take a huge portion of the of a sale price, and they issue you a commission on the back end. But it is a really, really cool way to just have something sitting up there that is waiting. And if it resonates with people, they can purchase it. And then you get a little bit of proceeds off the back end.
Sure.
You know, for me, the one big kicker was at some point with DBH, I was hoping for a little more variety, right? I was looking to get into things like book bags and jackets and hats and socks, and offer a full array of actual items and styles. And at least at this level, unless you sell a ton of stuff, there's sort of tiers that you can kind of read through on the DBH website.
Yep.
But you essentially start with shirts, mugs, mouse pads, stickers, right? You're kind of in like a general first level, and then you can level up and expand your store after X amount of sales. But the other piece for me was, as a content creator, it's very common for people to have a link tree. If you've ever heard of a link tree.
Oh yeah, DJs love that.
And I love it too. And I love the idea of providing people one link that can send them directly to all of the places that you are, right? That's wonderful. My only concern with it is Linktree is owned by somebody else, right? So you were taking your person, your customer, and sending them to somebody else's platform first before yourself. I was a strong advocate when I first started about, and this is a whole other conversation for branding on a different day, but I was a really, really strong advocate about owning all of my platform names and owning all of the rights to the things that are Kimbro Plays.
Yes.
Right. I wanted all of the social media accounts to line up. I wanted to have all of the appropriate Gmail and email accounts. I didn't want someone else to be acting as Kimbro Plays on my behalf, representing me at some point down the line if we were to ever hit it big. One of the first things that was required with that was buying the website kimbroplays.com. So I went ahead and did that probably before I ever had, you know, 500 followers. I just got early on that train and decided to pull up my website and own the domain and the rights and manage everything that came with that. Um, and then I ended up being in a spot where I decided that I have had DBH and I've been working with DBH, but at this point, I'm really interested in seeing if I can send people to my website as opposed to going to Design by Humans website or Linktree.
Absolutely.
Can I turn KimbrelPlays.com into a one-stop shop for all of my stuff, including my merch? And that was sort of the phase 2 for me. That's sort of where we ended up, and where I am currently. I'm currently residing in that space where I've got my own website and all of my merch is up on my own website. Now I use a third-party group to fulfill orders, and go through that process, but I don't need to sort of host my stuff on anyone else's. I'm fully sustainable, fully self-sufficient, which is a great place and a great spot to feel like you are in.
Yep. And sorry for losing the eye contact here. I'm actually showing these guys what your website looks like. It looks awesome, man, especially the merch page. You got your Discord there, Spotify, about. How much time would you say you've put into your website? Because I want people to understand like that how important this is. And like I'm also of the opinion that Linktree is great, but once you get to a certain level, like you need to get people to your website where, you know, you control the environment and you control the ad revenue and everything like that. So I'm showing them that. And if you could talk about who is supporting you now, like what you made the switch from Design by Humans, where are you now?
Yeah, I'm actually, so the website is built through Squarespace, which is actually a really easy process. You asked about how long it took. You know, it doesn't take too long, and there's a lot of really great YouTube tutorials out there on how to do things. A lot of stuff put out by Squarespace to help you figure out what you're doing. So it may seem sort of daunting at first to make my own website, but they've got so many wonderful templates. It ends up being a lot of like drag and click or drag and drop, where you sort of upload photos and you sort of, you know, decide that this section needs to look like this and this looks like this. There's no coding, right? There's no like behind the scenes, I'm typing out some long internet code and getting stuff squared away. So so I originally did it on Squarespace. And at first, my first draft of my website looked similar to how it does now. It just didn't have the merch and it wasn't fully built out. So if you actually click on the Kimbrel Plays logo up at the top.
Yep, I did.
It'll take you sort of to that homepage where I sort of can walk you through all of the different things that I have going on. Right? Whether that be a bio about me and how to find me on Twitch, Instagram accounts, my YouTube account where you can follow stuff off stream, and then of course the merch. I didn't have it fully built out like that. It was sort of like a bio about me, a quick hit about a couple of the, you know, platforms you can find me on, and then that was it. And so this next evolution of it has been a lot of fun, and been, I think, really rewarding. And it actually serves when you open it up on mobile. If you look there at the top and that top banner, Mike, those icons for those different social media platforms.
Yep.
When you look at this, not only on the website, like from the desktop, but when you open it up in mobile, it actually serves as a link tree. The first 5 things you see when you open it are the 5 logos of the accounts that I'm on. And you can obviously scroll down and see everything else that you can see on the website. But on mobile, it actually looks and feels just like a link tree. And it's perfect because people can find everything they need to know about me right there. And it gets directed and it goes through my website and then directly to my platform.
Yep. And then as far as, so this works really well for content creators and streamers, Kimbro. I want to say for DJs, guys, we put out a lot of content, whether it's, you know, mixes, videos, whatever it is. Instead of having a link tree, have a, you know, DJAXCESS.com, KimbrelPlays.com /news. And then that way your link in bio gets people to your website. But, you know, let's say you put out 2 mixes in 2 days. I saw the post because of, you know, we know how the Instagram algorithm is. I saw the post from 2 days ago. I can still see the post without having to go to separate links for everything. So using your own website /news as a type of link tree can be helpful. You know, Brandon, for you, it's a lot. You know, you don't have to worry about that too much. But it looks great, man. And like you said, everything that would be on a link tree is right there, right at your fingertips, you know, 2 seconds away. So
yeah, man.
I love it. You said you were using Squarespace, and then you have like someone else, who's working as like a design by humans in the background to
Yeah.
help you out with the merch.
Yeah, that's printful.com, which I didn't get a chance to mention, but they're sort of I would call them like a grown-up version of Design by Humans. They're like the next evolution for fulfillment. DBH has a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot of wonderful artists and stuff that work with DBH, but DBH kind of functions a little bit more like an actual a store for a small band, right? If my band was on tour and we needed to have the ability after our show to show people merch, but we're still so small that we can't even afford a website yet. That's kind of where DBH is. And then after that, you go to a place like Printful. I think there's Teespring. There's a couple other groups that kind of do a lot of the similar things, and those groups specifically are more considered like an e-commerce store.
Right.
So you need a website in order to link up with these groups. You have to sort of tie these two accounts together so that they'll talk to each other, and then you are able to share your merch and make your designs and post them up like you saw on my website. It's really more like an online store, as opposed to DBH is like a website that has your logos and stuff on it, as opposed to this is something you really have to manage. You're responsible for, not necessarily fulfilling the orders, but at least monitoring and making sure the payments go through and they process, and it's all through PayPal. So it's not too hard, but it's just like that next step. It's that next evolution forward for that stuff.
Cool. And we talked about the next step. I want to talk about the first step. This is where most of the thinking is involved, and like really the work is the design, right? So this isn't gonna populate itself. You got to have a cool design. You got a ton of them on here, man. Maybe if you could talk about a few designs and how you came up with them, and then I assume a designer is important. I would think so, but maybe you could tell me different.
Yeah, man. I've kind of gone through a couple different iterations on that as well. I think what I see common for at least streaming and YouTube content creators is they'll take their logo, they'll take whatever it is that they're sort of known for, have their specific branding up there, and then turn their branding into a t-shirt or a hoodie. And it doesn't necessarily resonate the same as if you worked really hard with your community or with people. If you made merchandise that actually people would wear and it has nothing to do with you.
Yep.
Right. It's almost like kind of changing that mindset. While you want to get your name out there, while you want to sort of have brand recognition, you also want people to want to wear your merch. And that, for me, at some point switched and became the top priority. I didn't need to have my logo, my gaming content creator logo, or my name on every single piece of merch that I put out. I actually have seen way more success and people's interest with shirts and designs that sort of speak to them outside of whatever it is they know me from, whether it be social justice, women's appreciation, equality, stuff like that was actually way more interesting for others, and sort of can also cast a net larger than just your group, right? So that's the other part. I will sell shirts and hoodies and designs to people who don't know me, but they like the shirt.
Yep.
And then they become people who get to know me, right? So rather than working internally and convincing people who already follow me to support, I'm actually able to cast a much larger net and reach out and start to build connections with people who are out here on this ring, and then can kind of sort of follow me across platforms and support me in other ways.
Yeah. And I think it might be a Gary Vee thing, but I can't remember. But they talk about the funnel, right? You'd have your main thing. You don't have to decide, but you want to decide what your one or two main things are, and then everything else is like a funnel to that. So you're spending, most of your time here, but you still have to pay attention to everything to get the funnel. And you're using merch as a way. I picked up the Respect Her shirt. I love that idea. I got a standard Kimbro Plays one.
Thank you, my brother.
What else did I get? I got. Oh man, I can't see it now, but what I missed, and I have to pick up later, is the You Good chat one. That I like a lot.
Yeah, and that one to me was really important because as I started to sort of work on designs, and I have a bunch of other designs that are either thoughts or just haven't been put to pen to paper yet, but starting to have conversations with people and starting to allow them to express things that are important to them, like mental health awareness, equality, diversity and inclusion, or just things that are going to be general and would make them feel good outside of, the gaming content creator X. I just felt really strongly about making my branding and what people associate me with more than just my name and my logo. And when I think about DJs and people who are their own brand, I think it's also really important that, you make things and design things that resonate with everybody. And music is so universal,
Mhm.
and people, if they don't have a graphic tee of their favorite band, or that's just so common that people pick up merchandise from music outlets, that if you can come up with something that's really, really clever for your merch store, that represents you but doesn't necessarily need to have your name plastered across it, I think that's a huge win, and it's something that you should definitely consider.
Absolutely. And then, we are just to shout out some DJs that are doing it well. You guys know I love the Passionate DJ line. I have a few shirts from them. Corrupt, I think when he watches this episode, is going to be a little upset because I know he had a ton of Corrupt inventory, flags, t-shirts, hats, and everything like that. So this eliminates that issue. Aaron Os 10 literally does this as his kind of, I'm not going to say full-time. DJing is full-time, but he's got the t-shirt design hustle. And then Egotronic Basilio, I've got a couple shirts from him, and he's really about his Design by Human store.
Nice.
I think he even designs for other people as well. So there are other DJs that are doing this. If you want to reach out to Kimbro Plays, if you want to reach out to those DJs, if you want to reach out to me, I'll be getting my merch store. But this was the precursor to that, trying to find some experts. And that's why that's why Brandon's here today. Brandon, anything else you want to say? I know you want to talk about when you're streaming, and this is part of the funnel, man. Let's get people over to your stream and your YouTube. Talk about it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I'm Kimbro Plays on all platforms. I'm really, like I said, a really strong advocate of making it easy as possible for you guys to find me or be be able to access whatever it is that I've got going on. I do stream over on Twitch multiple days a week. I have a full-time job and a full-time career, and then every other weeknight and once on the weekends kind of thing I'll stream. I'm not set to a full schedule. I'm a new husband, so I've got to be malleable and flexible with when I decide to have my leisure time, check in with the wifey. But you'll catch me 3-4 nights a week over on Twitch, playing a variety of different video games. My wife will come on and actually play guitar and sing for us sometimes. I have a whole interview thing where I'll interview content creators and streamers and other people on my show as well. And then, you can always find me on YouTube. I'm always putting out content over there, including full episodes of some of those past interviews with people that I've had on Twitch. So yeah, man, just Kimbro Plays wherever. We like to have a good time. I like to make sure that people feel welcome. Like I said at the beginning, it's a little bit different than podcasts or, doing DJ work, because you're interacting with people so frequently on a weekly basis that these people sort of start to become your family, as opposed to maybe, a client that you worked with last year and getting a referral. I mean, these people are, dedicating their time and energy to you for, hundreds and thousands of hours over the course of a streamer's career. So, yeah, man, it's really important to me that those people feel loved and welcome and supported. So I spend a lot of time on stream, just checking in on people's mental health and emotional health and just seeing how they are. And then hopefully making a couple plays or providing a version of entertainment that takes them away from any strife or issue that they have. So yeah, man, that's what we've got going on.
Oh yeah, dude, and like I said, this dude's my favorite stringer. He's downplaying how much he cares about the people in his chat. And I know I said community a million times in the pre-show, but I mean it. It's not so much about, like he said, these one-time interactions. These people are hanging out with him 2-3 times a week. We got one right here. I'm gonna pronounce the name wrong, but it's Yampip, YIANIP, says, "Yo, how's it going? Saw Kimbro Plays Discord that he's on your stream and had to come through and support." So
amazing.
These people just come in here and they love this guy. I love him too. I've seen him stop streams, what he's doing, just to check on people and really focus in on their mental health. It's inspiring, man. I take a lot of what I do on Twitch from you, so thank you for that. Thank you for helping us out with the merch side. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I let you go?
Yeah, man. No, just I appreciate you. I'm really happy and really excited to see what you continue to do with your content creation game. I know you're always cooking up awesome things, and
Oh, I'm
whether
cooking.
it's podcasts or playing games. And we've talked a lot. If you guys don't know, when Jedi Mike streams, if he does Star Wars, he puts himself inside of the cockpit of an X-wing and really sells the entertainment value of it, and just little stuff like that. I'm so excited to see other people pushing the boundaries. The one thing I will say about it, and hopefully it's the same in the DJ community, but to me, as far as Twitch goes, and as far as being a content creator and streamer, so even if you're doing DJ stuff over on Twitch, the more people who make really good content on that platform is a good thing.
Yes.
Right? The more people who we are able to convert to have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then Twitch, TikTok right on their home screen of their phone. Make it normalized Twitch on people's iPhones and Androids. That's really where I'm at.
It's coming, man. It's coming.
So the more we can do to all be better content creators and make quality products, the better those folks will start to come on. We see people, to our point earlier about music, and you've mentioned it a bunch. We're starting to see artists all over the platform. I think of Mike Shinoda, I think of T-Pain, I think of Logic, the rapper. There are all kinds of sort of celebrities starting to make content over on Twitch, and my hope is that the common everyday viewer starts to normalize having Twitch on their phone, and it starts to be sort of normal to check in on live streams. It doesn't even have to be Twitch. It can be Facebook gaming. It could be YouTube gaming. It could be any of these platforms, but having more and more people in future generations get comfortable pulling up a live stream and supporting a content creator doing something, whether it's DJing or playing games or just chatting. I think that's a good thing for all of us.
Sure, man. And more people coming out. Spice Kane says Pog. And then I don't know, he, she, or they're talking.
I call him Nip.
Yeah, Nip. Okay, sorry, Nip. All right, cool. So we got everybody in the chat hanging out. We're wrapping up here, but I will say that I think that it's been like, okay, everyone was on Facebook, then everyone was on Twitter, then everyone was on Instagram, and now maybe everyone's on TikTok. But I think we're getting into a territory where everyone's just going to have like their one thing that they focus on. And like I said before, the funnel, where it's not going to be like, everybody's here, everybody's there. It's going to be this ecosystem where, the nerds are on Twitch, and, all the model people are on Instagram, something like that. It's just, there's going to be like a special platform for each one, and everyone's going to have like a side hustle. But
yeah, there really might be. It'd be interesting to see how they all shake out. And, what's the platform that's not known yet? What's the platform that hasn't been developed yet that we have to be on the lookout for?
Yes, agreed.
Because TikTok, Twitch, all of these, even, obviously Twitter, they all came from somewhere, and we didn't know about them. So, keeping your head up and sort of being aware of, what's next is always really a big key and a big part of the hustle.
Absolutely. Kimbro, thank you so much for your time, man. Guys, find this guy everywhere at
Mike.
Kimbro Plays, and we'll be back next week with the full podcast episode. I said it was a mini episode. We went 47 minutes. We'll be back with the full episode with some DJ stuff next week, but hopefully you'll learn something, and thank you for